Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today's Wednesday, 16th day of October, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now, even though I'm late. Not my fault. Not making excuses. Having internet issues and GoToWebinar issues. And here's the deal. If my internet connection drops, don't go away. I'm going to text Michael and he's going to jump on. Otherwise, he'll join us when he normally does, about 50 minutes into the broadcast, for a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning, and then some live trading on the TradingView platform for about a half an hour. So, if you haven't taken our free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, purple button at the top of the page. Fill out the form, hit submit. We'll get your indicators indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow, and you think, oh, well, that's crazy. I'll only get 2 days. Not true. You'll also get 3 days next week. That's 5 consecutive trading days. So no matter when you sign up for the trial, you never have to worry about what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day it is. You'll always get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend and even a holiday. When you take the trial, not only will you have access to the live training room for 5 consecutive trading days, we're going to treat you just like you were a member, full-fledged member, 5 days. That means we're going to give you access to everything that our members have access to, so that at the end of the 5 days, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you, or if you've been trading a while, if what we do is right for you. Okay? You got to show up, you got to ask questions, you got to trade along in your demo account. I mean, you want to get your money's worth out of the free trial because, I mean, it's free, which is a good thing for you. It's not free for us, but it's free for you. No credit card required. All right, let's get cracking since we're starting late. We open each day with our daily devotional. Now, the morning broadcast is private, members only, and those taking the free trial. This afternoon broadcast is open to the public, everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. You can join via your desktop computer or via our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN, where we are simulcasting right now, both on our platform and on YouTube. If you're new to the world of CFRN, the YouTube channel is a great resource. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. And thanks to the power of YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. Yeah, we've been around since 2005. The videos only go back about 8 years, but every day we archive the broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,600 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. All right, let's get into the devotional, the topic, and we're in day 6 of 7. What is my purpose? Answer: learning to love God and love others. Today's scripture, Matthew 25, verses 34 through 36. And I'm going to share with you from the Message translation. Then the king will say to those on his right, enter, you who are blessed by my Father. That's what's coming to you in this kingdom. It's been ready for you since the world's foundation. And here's why. I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was homeless and you gave me a room. I was shivering and you gave me clothes. I was sick and you stopped to visit. I was in prison and you came to visit. Matthew 25, verses 34 through 36. Our focus today: service. One of the greatest ways to love God and our neighbor is through acts of service. Take a moment and contemplate and reflect on how you might be uniquely called and created to serve those around you. Right now in our country, we have an incredible example of service. Ordinary, everyday Americans are helping these hurricane victims. They're traveling on their own dime to get there, to help, to feed, to clothe, to do whatever they can to help rebuild. That's why we want to remain one nation under God. So remember that when you go to the polls in November. St. Teresa of Avila wrote this: Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks, compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Matthew 25, for I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you cared for me. I was in prison and you visited me. I tell you the truth. When you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you're doing it to me. And this was Jesus talking to his disciples. Now, continuing this metaphor of being the body of Christ, using these parts of the body that I'm going to give you, consider how you might serve others. You might want to grab a pen, piece of paper. You remember those, right? Just jot these down. Hands, feet, eyes, ears, mouth, heart, mind. In other words, how can you be the hands of Jesus, the feet of Jesus, the eyes of Jesus, the ears of Jesus, etc.? Now, we'll be concluding this devotional topic tomorrow. So, as we go into the final day of this devotion, consider your unique perspective, your vocation, your skills, your personality, your experiences, and how together as one body we can serve God and others. Ask God to open your eyes to new opportunities, ears to the people around you, and your heart and mind to the needs of your community. Now here's just one random example. Maybe your career was an auto mechanic, and man, you were good. But there's a whole lot of people whose cars won't start anymore because of these storms. If you're retired, if you have the money, and if God directs you to do this, imagine what a blessing you could be if you went to some of these affected areas and helped these people, because they've lost everything. They can't afford a mechanic. Okay? Now, I just pulled mechanic out of the air. Look at your own life. What talent, what skill, what ability do you have? And obviously, if you're, in the middle of a career, raising a family, you can't physically go there. Your checkbook can go there via reputable places like the Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, Convoy of Hope. But if you can actually be boots on the ground, if I were in a position to do it, you better believe I would. Because I enjoy that. Not because I feel obligated to, not because somebody's told me, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. I get great joy. It's better to give than to receive. And I understand that for a very long time. So I made my first trip to Africa. And then it was pretty obvious. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, you call us to care for the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the sick, the imprisoned, reminding us that in serving others, we serve you. Help us to live with compassion, always looking for ways to care for those in need. May we reflect your love through our actions and be faithful servants who bring comfort and hope to the least of these. And Father, we lift up these hurricane victims and ask for your protection, your provision. We pray that there will be comfort for those who have lost loved ones, homes, livelihoods. We pray you provide them with strength and resources as they rebuild. Surround them with your love and care, and raise up communities to support them in this time of need. Let them find hope and peace in your presence. And Lord, we pray for an end to this madness in the Middle East. We ask that you bring healing to those affected by violence and destruction, and protect the innocent. Guide leaders and nations toward paths of peace and reconciliation, and soften hearts hardened by hatred and division. May your peace and justice prevail, and may the region experience your healing and restoration. And God, this election is so close. We seek your guidance. Grant wisdom to voters, that they may choose leaders who reflect your values of justice, compassion, and integrity. Protect the process and bring unity where there is division. May this election lead the nation toward righteousness, and may your hand guide the future of this country for the good of all people, no matter what political party you subscribe to. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. Everybody said amen. Amen. Happy Wednesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Currently, the Dow's up 238 points. NASDAQ is down 22. S&P 500 is up 8. The Russell 2000 up 36 points. That's over 1.5%. In the commodity basket, crude oil down only 11 cents today, trading $70.47 last. Gold up $6.40, trading $26.85.30 last. Silver up 8 cents, trading $31.83 last. The Asian markets at the close. The Nikkei dropped 730 points, almost 2%. The Shanghai gained 1.5 points. The Hang Seng dropped 31. In the European markets at the close, FTSE up 79, which for the FTSE is almost 1%. The DAX fell 53, the CAC down 29. So we had a mixed day in Asia, a mixed day in the UK, and at the moment, it's a mixed radio Wednesday here in the US of A. We only have one of the major indices in the red at the moment. That's the NASDAQ, and it's only down by 18 points. And you know that with the NASDAQ, 18 points is practically not much, right? Okay. News. The Biden administration has given Israel 30 days to expand humanitarian aid to Gaza or risk access to U.S. military aid, a recent letter reveals. The ultimatum marks the strongest language from the White House towards Israel since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. It's a good thing he won't be president in 30 days, huh? Bible's real clear. He who protects Israel shall himself be protected. Israel has been one of our closest allies in the Middle East since the beginning of America. And now, this is what your president. Now, he didn't come up with that. He didn't write it. He just roused from his nap, signed his name, rolled over. The U.S. says Israel interrupted close to 90% of humanitarian aid movements last month between northern and southern Gaza as part of its campaign to isolate Hamas militants in the north. Well, they did pick this fight. Israel has also issued evacuation orders to much of northern Gaza, where about 400,000 Palestinians are based. The U.S. is calling for Israel to ensure passage of at least 350 humanitarian aid trucks per day into the territory. And nobody wants war. Israel doesn't want war. War has been forced upon them. The letter signed by one of the world's greatest military strategists, Antony Blinken, and Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, who was in the hospital having surgery for 3 days before anybody even missed him. Oh my goodness. Could it get worse? Maybe for Boeing. Boeing's plans to raise $25 billion through stock and debt offerings over the next 3 years, while also entering into a $10 billion credit deal with lenders, according to regulatory filings yesterday. Jetmaker seeks to bolster its finances and increase its cash balance as it works to avoid a potential downgrade to junk status. Now, the next time you get on an airplane to go somewhere, do you really want to fly in a plane where their stock has fallen to junk status because of what's going on in the company? I'll never fly Boeing again. I'll wait. I'll wait till something else becomes available. India and Canada have expelled each other's top diplomats amid escalating tensions over the June 23 killing of Hardeep Singh Najjar, a Sikh separatist leader in British Columbia. Canada accused Indian officials of involvement in Najjar's assassination, expelling India's top diplomat and 5 others. In return, India expelled Canada's acting high commissioner and 5 others. I think that's what you call tit for tat, right? All right, markets, what's up? Elon Musk donated just under $75 million to his super PAC last quarter, according to just released government filings, as the world's richest man made his full splashy entry into presidential politics. Yesterday's filing is the culmination of an evolution for Musk, the Tesla CEO, who first began quietly appearing at GOP fundraisers in 2022, but has gradually increased his involvement and memorably leaped on stage with former President Trump earlier this month in Butler, PA. It also comes at an increasingly vocal contingent of billionaires, including Musk and other figures, lining up behind Donald Trump for the final stretch of the campaign. Announced today that it is investing in small nuclear reactors, just 2 days after a similar announcement by Google, as both tech giants seek new sources of carbon-free electricity to meet surging demand from data centers and artificial intelligence. Now, sure you've heard this before, but I want to make sure you hear it again. What has our government done over the last 4 years? They've allowed China to buy land surrounding our nuclear reactors and our nuclear missile silos. You think China would let us buy land? Period. I don't think you can even buy land there, but much less next to a nuclear reactor or a nuclear silo site. Guys, something's really wrong in this world, and that's more than I can cover in this radio broadcast. So let's just do this thing. Logic 247, that's our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, also crude, gold, silver, euro, bonds. Over the last 323 weeks, we have issued over 18,000 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, Valerie did this recap at 7 a.m. Eastern this morning. Things have changed since then. She'll update the recap this afternoon between 3 and 5 p.m. and then again probably about 8:30 p.m. Eastern, as she does every day. But at the time she did the recap this morning, since the markets opened this past Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we had issued a total of 34 alerts. We were still waiting on the outcome of 10. That gave us 24 actionable alerts, of which 4 or 17% would have been stopped out, again, based on market structure, and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, the purpose of the logic alerts is not so you can just trade them and not have to learn how to trade. I know people do that, and there'll be a day they regret doing that, but I encourage you to use them as they're intended, to learn to spot windows of opportunity in the market. Just as I did yesterday on the Dow, I think it was. When we get to the charts, you'll see it. You'll see what happened. If you were tuned in yesterday, you saw it live in real time, and you weren't tuned in, guess what? You can go to youtube.com/CFRN and watch it for yourself. You don't have to believe me, just see it with your own eyes, if you didn't. Now, long before we had Logic 247, our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, they're a little bit different. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. So again, a logic alert can come out anytime around the clock, except during the 1 hour each day when the futures market is closed from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. Tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, the markets will reopen. They'll close at 5, the futures market, and they'll reopen at 6. And that will be the beginning of the Thursday session. Okay? So last night, I waited a while after the open. Normally it's about 6:30, but I waited a little bit just to see if there's going to be any effect from any of the earnings reported after the bell, blah, blah. If you're a member or trial member, make sure you read this. It's very important that you understand this. If you don't understand this, then ask questions. Every one of our members had every one of these targets last night at 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Every market we cover, from the ES all the way down to the euro. And if I don't get some feedback pretty soon on somebody that's actually trading the euro in our group, I think most of you stick to what Michael's trading in the live training room. If there's one person that needs those euro alerts or weekly trading zones, I'll keep doing them for you. If there's only one of the many. But if I don't get some kind of message this week, then I'm probably going to, I don't trade them myself, and I'm not going to go through all the work unless it benefits somebody. But I will do it if it benefits even one person. Okay. All right. Well, with all that said, where are we? Here we are. S&P 500 E-mini futures daily chart. Okay. Now, the fib retracements go from the low of April 19th to the new all-time historic high put in on the 14th, 59.18.5. Yesterday the high was 58.50. 59.18.5. Can I get it right? 59.18.5. 59.15.5. So we put in a 3-point lower high yesterday. And now look at today. You can barely see it. We'll make sure my charts are working. Yep. That's today's candle. And notice the step line, how it's starting to hook right. Once it crosses blue and climbing, it will most likely drop to the BBC. Green lines called the BBC stands for bull-bear cross. It's pretty simple. The price gets below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. Price gets above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, it's called the BBC, and the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. But eventually it will trade through, as it did here, and then it pulled back and the pullback held. And then we got a leg and a retracement and the pullback held right at the previous bearish cross. Okay. And so then we got the big leg down, and then we had the huge rally up. This is one of the fastest up rallies I've seen. Look how long it took price, okay, a number of days to make this trip. Look how fast it made this trip. I think that might have been a historic rally. Anyway, the step line crossed, and we expected price to pull back to the BBC, and again it traded through. It pulled back and the pullback held. And we got another leg to the downside. Okay. Now, this low right here is when you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support. Look at the horizontal line on my cursor. When the blue line gets above the green line, that's a bullish cross. First time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. And it was. It sent price all the way back up to the BBC. The pullback held. And we caught another leg to the downside. Buyers came in, got us back above the BBC. Now we've had a leg, a retracement, and a leg. And I think we're on the cusp of, what is today's volume? Only 525,000 contracts Yesterday, we did 1.2 million. The day before, we only did 843, 956,000, broke a million, broke a million, broke a million. Okay, so this is of concern. I don't talk about volume much, but in the context of a new all-time historic high and light volume, okay, now the candle down yesterday, that was pretty stout, 1.2 million, okay? We're just languishing here at the 38% fib extension. And where's resistance? The 50% fib extension. I encourage you, no matter what you trade, futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, spend 2 minutes with a daily chart, whatever you're about to trade on your smaller time frames. In doing so, you're looking over the shoulder of the deep pockets. I'm talking about the institutional traders who have massive account size and trade in massive size. They're the ones that actually move price. My 2 contracts or 10 contracts, they don't move price. Okay? These guys move price. So if you'll make this a part of your daily routine, you get a free look over the shoulder of the best, and not only can you see what they're doing, today practically nothing, but you're able to identify where major resistance is, support. I said yesterday, if we can get through the step line, then blue and climbing would be the next area of support. Looks like we just might, did we tag it today? Maybe we missed it by a tick. Down shall come. Now the 24% fib extension, that could be potential support. Then we're at the daily BBC. And remember, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. It's pretty simple. Okay, all 30-minute charts are created. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. The logic and the concierge. This is Wednesday. This is Tuesday. This is Monday. Separated by these vertical lines. Okay? So, last night the market opened. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. Pushed us right up to the BBC. And then blue and climbing rolled over to red and falling. And it took us right down to the target, to the tick. Can you see that? Okay. Now there's one candle. It opened at 58.64 and a quarter. Let's just call it 58.64. And it dropped 8 points to 56. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Support will always send the market to resistance. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. And that resistance set us back down to the target again. Buyers came in when the market found support, drove us up to the weekly trading zone. Now, when price encounters a weekly trading zone, 70% of the time you're going to have consolidation. That's what this is. You can look a couple of different ways. Consolidation's consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. Now, when you have a slice, that's where price slices through a weekly zone, like it's not even there. When it runs out of steam, it will typically retrace back to the zone it sliced through and continue in the direction of the slice. Kind of picture perfect. Now, this low, you look at the horizontal line on my cursor, look left. See that low on Monday? Here? That was also yesterday's low. Will it be today's low? I don't know. The market keeps trying to go higher. Yesterday, live on the broadcast, price was up here, and we drew in this window of opportunity, and this candle right here filled it. Okay. So I explained everything. I said we need to break the low of this candle, and then we want to get out before we get to the low of this candle. We want to trade that area in between that low and that low. That's a window of opportunity. I will teach you how to do that when you become a member. So, what's on deck now? Well, price is struggling to move higher. And the institutional traders, it looks like they're taking a day off. Okay? We have such low volume and such low movement. I mean, this is the entire ES session. I mean, days like this, there's great trading. And days like this, there's great trading. Sideways days like this. We trade every market exactly the same. So guess what? You can just go trade a different market. Now, this low yesterday, bullish cross on Monday. Remember, price revisits the area, and it is an area. Support, set it all the way back up almost to the zone. Resistance, dropped it to support. Now, I drew in this window of opportunity yesterday live on the broadcast. Okay, price was like way up here, but I wanted price to break this low. Remember, I explained that I don't put the top of the window right at that low, nor do I put the bottom window of the window right at that low. I'm very conservative. So price came down into the window and then retraced to the top of the window and then completed the move. I hope that makes sense to you. I also drew in this long window of opportunity yesterday, and is it still valid if price gets there? Yep, it is. All right, so price consolidated along the weekly trading zone for hours. Remember, that's what's going to happen 70% of the time. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. Price retraces back to the zone, then continues in the direction of the slice. So after consolidating here along the zone pretty much all night till the 9:30 open today, popped. We hit the long target. Continued to the zone where we expect resistance. Just like when price drops to a zone, we expect support. When it rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. Okay? So now we've got to see what's going to happen. The step line, the black step line, is starting to hook right. If it crosses blue and climbing, then price is most likely going to drop to the BBC. Why? Become a member and I'll help you understand it, okay? I really will, promise. So we hit the short target, hit the long target. Life is good. On the Russell, we opened last night, came down to the zone, found support. Support sent us looking for resistance, which we found for a few hours at the BBC. Then we got above the BBC, and then the pullback held, and it held, and it held, and then bang, we hit the target. That sliced us through the zone on the 30-minute chart, but when it ran out of steam, what did it do? It retraced back to the zone it sliced through. Even reached down and touched the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not. That's the 9:30 opening candle. And look where we are now. Remember, the Russell is the strongest market as far as the indices go. But that step line's about to cross. And when it does, Just remember, price drops faster than it rises. It takes financial commitment for price to rise. But for price to fall, all that's required is for institutional traders to hit pause on the buy side, and price just naturally deteriorates because there's no one to hit the offer. No one meaningful. Oh, you're meaningful. We opened right at the zone last night. And by the way, speaking of the zones, we've published the zones for our members every week since December 14th, 2009. This December will make 15 years. What the zones do is they provide our members with a playing field for the week. Now, we have one market this week where price has actually dropped below the lowest weekly trading zone, and that's on crude. But we still have 2 more days and the rest of the day. Typically, when we hit the lowest weekly trading zone or the highest by Tuesday morning, which we did yesterday, by the end of the week, that's 5 p.m. Friday afternoon, price will be at the other end of the spectrum. Does that happen 100% of the time? No. Does it happen 98.7% of the time? People always want percentages. I just pull that out of the air. 98.7% of the time, yeah, it does happen. Okay, so there's your percentage. All right, we opened last night, ran up to the BBC. We expected to be resistance, and it was. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling. So we got a leg, retracement, back held, leg and a retracement, pull back held, and then down we go to the short target, through the short target. Where do we find support? At the zone. When price finds support, what's its job? To go find resistance. And then its job is to go find support. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, back to support, back to resistance. Over and over again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's been in place since the inception of the markets, will remain in place till the markets cease to exist. Why? Now I'm talking futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs. Why? Because that's how markets work. How come nobody else ever told you that? Because they got a lot of stuff to say. We don't. You can become a passport holder if you choose, and we'll share with you everything we know about the markets. Provide you all the tools. The only thing we can't give you is patience and self-discipline. So if that's the only problem you have with trading, we'll work with you on it. You know, I'll walk you through some exercises. I'll make some suggestions. But I can provide you with the info you need. I can provide you with the tools you need. Patience and self-discipline, that's between you and God. But I'll still try to help you. Crude oil. Okay, this is the lowest weekly zone, and we're below it. That's an anomaly. Now, I said yesterday that 72.35 was my break point. If price can get above 72.35, I'm going to buy a fistful of long crude micros. You might be going, well, why not just buy options? That's way too complicated for me. I'm a country boy from Georgia. High school diploma, which I'm very proud of. My concern is we put in a lower low today. We're still below the BBC. So we may not get that historic rally that we're accustomed to. Don't? No big deal. Life goes on. Gold. Here's where we open. We drop to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not. Bang. There's the long target. Okay. Now, this candle, as an example, opened at 2680.1 and ran up to 2683. So it's $190 per contract traded. But it kept going to the zone. And what did it do? Consolidated. 70% of the time. Rejection. 20% of the time. Okay. Even that's consolidation right there. Okay. So where are we on gold? Well, we're below the BBC, but we're printing a green candle. So those two things are contradicting themselves. We're also about to get a bearish cross. So I suspect that price will make it up to the BBC and then go right back down to this weekly zone. We did, of course, hit the long target early. Okay. And you see how that target has now become support? That what you will. Silver. Here's the open. Drop to the BBC. The pullback hill. We got a leg that took us right up to the target. You only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. That's it, 2 pennies. This candle right here. This candle right here. Open at 31.69. Ran up to 31.76. Now let's do it different. Because it's 31.69 half, so let's just call it 31.70. Up to 31.78. That's $400 per contract traded. You've earned the right to trade 10 contracts. That's a $4,000 move. Okay. So we hit the long target. Pull back. See the pullback to the BBC? It held. And then we ran all the way to the next zone. And we spiked it, and we spiked it, and we spiked it. We couldn't get traction. And look at this. High, lower high, lower high. That's a sign of weakness in the markets. You've got red and falling in the picture. About to make a bearish cross. So, I would wait. You got to wait for price to break this low. But then you got to come look over here. Oh, 31.71 down to 31.69. That would be your goal for the day. Euro. Here's where we opened. We pulled up to the BBC, resistance, dropped to the target, support. Support sent us to resistance at the zone. And that resistance sent us to support at the zone. Now we're dropping below the zone. Okay. Now the zones you're seeing today, Wednesday, were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. It's your guiding light for the entire week. Think of yourself being at a football game. You're sitting at the 50-yard line. Look to the left, you got the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, end zone. Look to the right, you got the same thing. Okay? So when you put the zones on your chart, it creates a literal playing field for the week. You know where to expect resistance. You know where to expect support. Days before price even gets there. That kind of information is very valuable for consistently profitable traders. Sadly, 9 out of 10 traders, new traders, never become consistently profitable. Why? They don't have anybody to teach them. They buy courses, they buy books, they watch videos, But at the end of the day, they don't have a living human being taking them by the hand and actually teaching them how to trade. We do. 2 hours every day in the live training room. Interactive. Michael's taking off trades. You're asking questions. You're learning. Okay? But on top of that, you get private one-on-one mentoring, strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder. They're fluid across all markets and all time frames. When you become a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. Every one has an entry price, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. Just use them properly to learn how to read the chart, to learn how to spot the windows of opportunity, like I drew in yesterday for you. Okay? I drew in 2, they both came to pass. Sweet. You can do the same thing. I wasn't born with some knack for trading. In fact, I was born with the anti-knack. Struggled hard in the beginning. Really hard. But I didn't give up. The match isn't over till you don't get back up. Gotta keep getting back up.
That is right.
You'll also get the concierge trade alerts every night when they're published. You get the weekly trading zones every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And you'll be able to attend the members-only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that's tomorrow night. So if you're on the trial, check your inbox. You've got an email already today, or you'll get it tomorrow. Walks you through step by step how you can have access to everything we've covered today. This is Michael that just arrived. He is going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. When he's done with that, we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. Then I'll come back and wrap things up with our good word for the day.
All right. Let me get it going here. There we go. All right. You should be looking at my charts.
Looks good.
Okay, is the audio okay?
Yeah,
I thought
perfect.
it was okay when
Yes, perfect.
I listened to it. Okay. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday, the 16th day of October, 2024. 7 days from now. It's 23rd. Okay. The 16th day of October, 2024. So if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on this purple button right here. When you click that purple button, it is going to bring it to this page, this registration page. Where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. There are five multiple choice questions for you here. 5 multiple choice questions for you here. Just answer those honestly, please. And if you have NinjaTrader, you can give us your machine ID if you want us to enable the indicator set on Ninja for you. If you just trade on Ninja, you don't need to give us the machine ID there. All right. If you have TradingView, give us your login name. You really need to get TradingView going. If you have TradingView, give us the login name there. And we'll be able to enable the indicators there for you as well. Okay. So today was kind of a quiet day. We ended up with better than yesterday, but but it was still kind of a quiet day. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 16th day of October, 2024. We made 120 ticks on the NQ, and we lost 8 on the ES. We didn't even trade the Russell and the YM today. It's kind of a strange day. We didn't trade those at all. I don't know that that's happened. But we didn't trade them at all, neither one of them. I didn't go back the whole year. Unless we didn't trade at all on a given day, I don't think you're going to see, while we were trading the YM. It's odd that we didn't have trades on either one of those today. But anyway, that was the way it came out. Plus $500 contract, not too bad. Did you get to 2,400 after 3 minutes and 1 trade? We got 48 ticks on the NQ. That was a pretty easy trade to see and take this morning. And we took a total of 9 trades overall. So just 9 trades, is that right? Yeah, that is right. Just 9 trades this morning. So on the month now, at $8,992 over 12 business days, averaging $749 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're now at $95,130 over 195 business days, the same 195 business days, averaging $487 per contract per 2-hour business day. If you were to quit trading following the 24/20 blueprint, when you get the goal for the day, and you add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you would have only had to work 57.1 hours if you did it just like me. Probably less if you started with 1 contract here, because I started with 13 at the beginning of the year. If you started with just 1 contract, you only had to work 57.1 hours, and you would be averaging right now $2,682 per hour for those 57.1 hours. That is pretty darn good money if you can take it. It's like a week and a half of work and $153,000 for a week and a half's worth of work in real time. All right, that is what happened this morning. Now let's get into it. The YM. Well, I'm actually going to be looking for trades here too, as we can get them. The NQ is in a perfect position to have a trade right now. It'd be great if this bar closed down like that. That's even better, a better position. And I'll explain all that in a few minutes, but it was part of the lesson plan today, the leg lengths. Right, so the low of this bar is 23.75, so we're buying 31.75 on that right now. Okay, just like that. Now, why 31.75? Well, because given where the low of the bar is right now, the high of the bar is going to be right here. I think if the low of the bar is right, the low of the bar right now is 23.75, so 8 points above that. 8 points above that means the high of the bar is going to be right here at 31.50. Right, because it's a 31 range bar. It's 1 tick less than 8 points. So if I put my buy stop limit order at 8 points, it's 1 tick more than where the bar is going to close. Makes sense. It should. All right. We don't have any other trades going on here, so let's just jump into what we're doing. I kind of want this to trigger so I can stop looking at it, but let me just blow this up like this there. Okay, it did trigger. Good. Now I can stop looking at it. Now, once it gets up to 36, right up here, we can throw that stop at break even. It should get all the way up here to the prior swing high. All right, it should get all the way up to the prior swing high. So we shouldn't have to have anything to do with this trade right now, other than just lock in profit right now. All right, now we have a 48 tick profit target on it. I'm going to lock in some profit on this right now. There's 12 ticks, and we have a 48 tick profit target on it that it did not hit yet. It's up here at 44. So the swing high is up there at 48. Now I have, I say 12 ticks locked in. We'll do 16 right there. And if it comes back and it takes me out with 16, that's okay. I would like it to get all the way up here, go through our target up here, that plus 48 ticks, but it took us out with 16. I'm good with that. All right, so let's get into the actual trades that we did do in addition to that one. Okay, on the YM, we didn't do any trades. I guess this is an easy one to go through. We didn't do any trades here on the YM. We had a trigger right here at 950. We had nothing right through here because of the weekly trading zone, right? Then we got away from the zone. We had a trigger right here that I didn't get for whatever reason. I didn't get that at 950, and it didn't put it in a higher swing, so you couldn't do anything else until it did put it in a higher swing. Then it pulled back too deep, crunched up the ribbon. You couldn't do anything. All right, nothing all the way through here. Pulled back too deep. You couldn't do anything. Right here, you could have taken a trade right here. Again, I missed that one. So the 2 trades so far that triggered on the YM were both profitable trades, and then it went all the way over here to right here. Last opportunity right here. The 3 opportunities today on the YM were all profitable trades if you got them, but I didn't get any of them. Okay, but they were all there for the taking. Now, the Russell, I said this was going to happen this morning. Well, I didn't say this was going to happen. What I was thinking was this was going to happen. After this consolidation here, I was thinking we're going to get into the leg like this one right here, like this guy. After all the consolidation that's happening right now, that has been happening since that last leg, I was thinking we're going to get into one of those. We'll see. I mean, look how long this consolidation was before it. right? It was from 8:02 all the way to 10 o'clock, so 2 hours before it, and it's now 10:20 to 2.5 hours right now. So we'll see what happens, but we didn't take a single trade right here. We couldn't do anything with this because it was right there all over the weekly trading zone. Then in here was the first trade that you could have taken on the Russell, and it would have stopped out. Then nothing else the rest of the morning. And I don't expect we're going to get anything now. Just not a lot going on there. All right. The ES. Now, this is something that I was looking at earlier. Part of the lesson plan today was the leg lengths, and what I was showing in the leg lengths was the retracements. And if you happen to have, let me move this down. I'll draw it. I'll draw it for you up here where we have nothing. Okay. If you happen to have a leg up, and then you have a leg down, and then within that leg down, you have another 50% retracement, meaning you have a leg up that does not put it in the higher swing, and then you have 50% retracement to that leg down. That is not where you want to trade, okay? The one place you would trade would be right here if you had something like that, and we've had that several times today, where the markets have been. The one place you would trade would be right there, okay? And possibly right down here. Those would be the two places you would trade. After it doesn't put in a higher swing here, you're not going to want to trade again. All right. In this, we're assuming came off a higher swing over here on the left, came down, you got your pullback, and you entered there and went long. You enter long again because you put in a higher swing, assuming over here you had a higher swing. But right here, because it failed to put in a higher swing, you don't look in that direction anymore. You just wait. You got to wait it out. All right. But this is the retracement within a retracement. And what that leads to is consolidation like this. Okay, that's what it leads to. Consolidation like that, and eventually going to break out of that. And that's when you want to start trading. Okay, but you got to remember, once you break out of it, you still have the swing highs and lows, whichever direction you're going in, that you have to get through. Okay, you still got to get through all that stuff. You can't forget about that. And that was something else that I pointed out this morning that I don't think I normally point out. If you come and sit down in the markets, and oops, I didn't mean to do that. If you come, I was trying to drag it left. If you come and sit down in the markets, like let's say you just came and sit down right now, you have to look left. You have to look left and see what trades you did have and what they did do. All right, to know what your current state is in the market. Like right here, it's okay to take a trade right now. It's okay to take this trade right now because we're coming off a higher swing. And the last time it came out of the oversold right here, it did put in a higher swing. It continued the trend. The time before that, it continued the trend. The time before that, it continued the trend. Okay, so you're continuing the trend on every swing. So it's okay to take this trade. But if you were to just come in and sit down and say, let's say you have, I'm trying to find a good example of it. Well, there's a bunch of junk in here. I'll tell you about it when we get it. But if you just sit down and you're not coming off a higher or lower swing, or if there was a trigger that had to put in a lower swing to continue the trend, like this right here, for instance. If you just came in right here and you say this was a trigger that came out of the overbought, and you had this right here, all right? So if you just sat down and right here is what you see. Right here is what you see. You're coming out of the overbought and you have this down close right here. You can't take that because this one right before it did the same thing but didn't put in a lower swing and never continued the trend. So you can't take that one. You have to skip it. I know it worked out well, but you still have to skip that. Following the rules, you have to skip that. Like if you came and sat down right here and you wanted to take this right here, it's just barely a higher swing right there. I guess you could take that. This one right here, if you took this trade right here that did not put in a higher swing and you sat down at this one, you can't take that trade. I know it worked out, but still, there are going to be more times that it doesn't work out than times that it does work. I know the 3 examples that I came up with all worked, but you get my point. Okay, anyway, let's get into the ES and the trades that we did and didn't take. All right, we didn't have many. On the ES, we started out with a stop out right here, and that stopped us out to the tick, and then went down and did what it should have done. All right, and then we followed it up with this trade right here, where we only picked up 2 ticks. That got us to -8, and we followed that up with a trade over here. We picked up nothing. We had to break even on that one. And that was our whole morning trading. Now, the thing that I was showing you about the retracement within a retracement, it was this right here that brought me to look at that. Now, earlier, I found out earlier, that my headset was not working properly. And so I made a little recording. While I made the recording, I noticed that we had the same thing that I was talking about this morning, right? Here you had your move down, you had a 50% retracement, and then within that 50% retracement, you had a 50% retracement right here. Okay, so it didn't continue the leg down here. It just stopped right there, and it didn't continue leg down. It started to move up. But this is what I was saying just a few minutes ago. When you get into a situation like this, where you have lower highs and higher lows, and it forms a triangle, eventually it's going to break out of that triangle. Once it breaks out of that triangle, you have to be cognizant of the prior swing highs and lows that you have to exceed. All right. So the way this worked out was okay. And this was, I think this happened right at the end of the session this morning. This did right here at the end of the session this morning. I didn't take this right here. I talked about it, but I didn't take it. I don't think I did anyway. Oh, I did take it. I ended up, I don't know. I don't remember, but I didn't take any profit on it. But I talked about this, how it was going sideways right here. And I did take this. I thought it was going to be a pull out of the oversold. That's right. I did take this, and I took a break even on it because it didn't come out of the oversold. I did have the trade trigger right here on the up close, and went 1 tick into profit. And I bought my stop to break even when I realized it hadn't pulled out of the oversold. So I did take this, but I had to look back and see that we came off a higher swing, right? Higher than that one right there. After all the junk that we're in right here, it had to be higher than that swing right there. And it was, and it pulled back, and it did give, there was some profit in it. It went up to the weekly trading. So, all right, sorry, that was, sorry, I'm just getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but training, right? It's free. There was one other opportunity right here. All right, this one here went right up into the zone. If you took that, you made some money. I probably wouldn't have taken it because the zone was so close. This one right here, I would have taken, and it would have made some money on that. It went up, probably 78 ticks right there, so I'd probably gotten 2 or 4. It hasn't given another trade yet. Well, actually, it did just give a trade right here. This bar just gave a trade. So there's a trade right now on the ES right here. Here it is. Okay, I'm long the ES right now. My stop should be 10 ticks away, and it is. And the DOM down here isn't really giving us anything to work with. It's actually suggesting we're going to be in some chop right here. And chop so close to the weekly trading zone is not really inviting, but it looks like it wants to get up to right there, and that would be 8 ticks if it does. So I'll stick this over here on the side, and we'll kind of keep an eye on it. But I'm going to get into the NQ now. Okay, get into the NQ now. And today on the NQ, we did have some pretty good analysis on the NQ today, and it cooperated for the most part. We need one more tick on this trade. It cooperated for the most part with our analysis. We were using all this area right in here while I was doing it. And here we are, right at the beginning of the day. Okay, we still need 4 ticks over here. We only got 3 so far. So we started out this very first trade of the morning right here on the NQ. We picked up 48 ticks on that. Now I took the weekly trading zones off for part of the lesson plan that I was given today. Let me put those back on so you can see them here. Okay, and there we are. All right, so we need this to actually get up to 78. It hasn't hit 78 yet. I think it's actually going to go up beyond that. I think it's going to go up to there. Okay, once I hit 78, I'll have to break even, and then I'll get back to, there it is. Okay, so now we hit the break even. We're not losing any money on this trade, and it's probably going to go up through the swing. I mean, through the high of the day right now is probably what it's going to do. I'm going to lock in just 1 tick, covers cost, and so from there to there is $100 a contract. Okay, so that's $1,000 for me. And if it goes to right there, then that'll be $1,250 for me. So I was gonna lock in some more there, but I'm just gonna lock in one extra tick. We'll let that go. It should go through the high of the day right now. All right, so the trades that we took in here. Now in here I was showing, and this was another example of a 50% retracement within a 50% retracement right here. This was the move down right here, all right? This was a beautiful 50% retracement to that move down. And within that, it didn't put in the lower swing right here. It showed weakness in the trend. It didn't put in the lower swing, and it did a 50% retracement within that 50% retracement. That's not what you want to see, okay? I'm gonna lock in 4 ticks here. That's $500. And now what we want to see over here, it's gonna go through the high of the day up there. I'm gonna bump this all the way up to there. All right, I have 4 ticks locked in. It should go up through the high of the day. I don't know if it's gonna do it all at once, but it should go up through the high of the day right now. Okay, you see the number right here? That's in Thursday's lesson plan. And that's tomorrow. That's in tomorrow's lesson plan. You have the number up there. That's what it's trying to get up to. All right, so, all right, we're out with $500 or 4 ticks. So let me focus on this. So here was the leg down right here, right? Here was the leg down. Here was a 50% retracement within that leg down. Here was the leg down there that did not exceed the prior swing low and the 50% retracement within that leg down. So all the same stuff that I just said a minute ago. That's not what you want to see in a trade. You want to see the trades continue the trend. You want to see this make this full leg length right here. You want to see that do that, and that would have put it right down here. If it did do that, it would have put it right down here. Right, that's what that line's there for. It took forever for that to happen. All right, we actually did get another trade off in the stuff that it did after going sideways and putting in a lower swing. It had a trade right here that I didn't do. I think there was a weekly trading zone right there. No, there isn't. I'm sorry. The zones are back in. It had a trade right here. Oh, I didn't do this because it was so close to the swing low. That's why I didn't do it. All right, then it pulled back and gave us this one. We had room to get the stop to break even. We took that. We ended up with a break even. But that did complete the second leg length. This is the first leg length. This is the second leg length. It just took forever for it to happen. All right, and this right here is the third leg length. And you see that eventually happened too. The ES, the initial trades were good, but it was a little more complicated to trade after that. So the first trade we took on the ES, we stopped out -10. I don't know. I still have myself at minus. Is this today? Yeah, this is today. I still have myself at -8 on the ES, and I don't know if I took all these trades or if I was just looking. I don't know. I draw these arrows in here. I'll have to go back and look. I don't think I took all these trades, but I ended up with -8 after getting +2 on that. This was a valid trade. This was a valid trade. I think I did take those trades. Why did I not keep track of those? I'll have to go back and see. Anyway, there was another trade here and another trade here, all which looked like valid trades. For some reason, I don't think that I actually took those trades. Then we got into the lesson plan, and I did a lot of talking and not a lot of trade. Right, during the break in here, after it made this leg down, we were looking for it to give us some ribbon. That was right here, would have been a trade. Right there would have been your first trade, then nothing because you had to put in a higher swing. Right here would have been your second trade, then nothing because you had to put in a higher swing. It's not a whole lot to work with there during the break. Okay, and that last trade that we took right there, I mean, we just took that trade, right? And we got 4 ticks profit on that. And that's it. That's all we have so far. Do we take the NQ trade too? I gotta see how many ES trades I took this morning. I show a lot more than I only marked down a couple, and I'm still at -8 on the ES is what I have marked down. And it is possible that that is where I was, but I don't know. Let me just do a little investigation. Yeah, I think that's right. I think I was just drawing a lot of things in there. All right, so what we need now on the NQ, we need it to pull back. Now, just an up close on this bar will not be enough. It's going to pull back quite a ways, because if we got an up close on this bar, it would put this in the overbought. Then the next bar is going to be so close to the swing low. All right, we want to get away from the swing low. Okay, I've been saying that all morning. It's just because of the way the markets have been today. You know, most days I don't have to say that because it doesn't happen that way, but it's just the way it is today, sadly. All right, so we have a potential trade here. Our first potential trade here on the Russell. It could happen. Get an up close on this, bar is going to go sideways, and then the next bar will be a down close. They'll pull it out of the overbought. All right, there it is. Now the bar went sideways, and now you're looking for that down close. That down close will be down here at 0.5. 0.5 is what we'll sell on that. Right. This is my first attempt to trade the Russell right now. On the NQ, we really want to see that close up. 2 bars close up. That's what we want to see on the NQ. And here we're at 0.5. We want to see it drop down to 0.5. All right, now it's going up to 3.0, so we'll be putting it right there. 1.0, 26 below. 26 below the top. Is the top really at 3.0? Oh no, it's at 2.9. So this should be at 0.9. Like that. All right, the NQ did close up. Now we want this next bar to close up too. All right, because if it closes down, the entry would be right here, right next to the swing low. And we don't want that. All right.
Guys,
so
watch
if
that
you have
Russell.
not,
It's about to trigger. I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, it is. It is about to trigger. I was just gonna say, if you have not taken the free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. Once you click on the purple button, you'll be brought to this registration page. On that registration page, just fill it out. Give us your TradingView login ID if you have one, right? If you don't have a TradingView login ID, go out here to trading platforms. From mytradingiq.com, click on trading platforms and sign up for TradingView right here. Okay, I recommend you do that.
Did you ever get a chance on the website to put in the brackets
No, I
for
didn't.
each of the markets?
I didn't finish it. I have it written
Okay.
down on several different notes here,
Okay.
and I never did it yet.
Okay.
And there was another note that I wrote to myself, and I can't understand what I wrote. It was from yesterday. It had something. It says TV $, like trading volume $. I don't know what that meant. I don't know what that meant.
Maybe you wanted to look at the dollar on TradingView charts. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I know there's a short here on the NQ though. Short here on the NQ, guys. This ended up closing up. The second bar closed up too, so that's a good thing. We want to see it down here, right there. Stop goes to break even now. After, I think it went.
There's no risk on this trade. Whatever happens, happens.
Right. And we expect it to get down below the prior swing low, but when it gets down toward the prior swing low, I'm going to lock in a little bit of profit, okay? Because it could bounce right off this swing low right here at 303. Oops, looks like it might take me out of break even after all.
Okay.
All right,
that's going to happen.
Break even.
That's going to happen. It's far better to get out at break even than with a loss.
It is indeed. I was still waiting on this Russell to happen. Okay, I wasn't really paying attention to the NQ, but we're able to get into it. Oops, we're able to get into it. We're able to get into it. Let me bring the Russell back up and let me pin it this time. See this little thing right here? That pins it on top. So when I click on other things, it stays on top. I don't know that we're going to get this trade on the Russell.
Yeah,
I don't know that it's going to happen.
I'm starting to think. Because of all the indices, the Russell was up like 30 points, which is 1.5% when I did the numbers from around the world.
And it did all that in like a minute. Well, not 1 minute, but maybe 10 minutes. It was sideways, 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 then one big move up, and then sideways, sideways, sideways. And it's been sideways since. Okay, so the high of the bar has moved all the way up here to 3.1. So this needs to go here to 2.1. I'm sorry, 1.1. 26 below the high of the bar. It could still happen. It could. Now over here on the NQ, you see how it did not put in a lower swing right there. It did not continue the trend, did not put in a lower swing. So even though we're overbought again, even though we might be able to see all four lines in the ribbon on a down close, we're not interested in that anymore. Okay. Ooh. And I have a meeting. Graham, I see you're in here. I sent the link to you in Telegram and an email. Okay. So the high of the bar is now 3.1. So we're selling 1.1 right here.
And if we get an up close, we may have no trade at all.
Yes, and that's what I suspect is going to happen. And we're going to run out of time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get the up close. It's not going to crunch ribbon together yet. It'll get squish it together quite a bit, but it'll change it to blue, I think. Yep, see it changes to blue. But if we got a down close right now, it would spread it back out. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Not in our time frame anyway. Speaking of time frames, I'm going to just move this over to the side. That's something else that if you have a day where you don't have you have some movement in the time frame that you're on, but not a ton of movement, you can always go to a smaller time frame. Like if I go here to a 4 range on the ES. Now we were in a 4 range for 10 years. For 10 years in 4 range on the ES. It's actually right here on trading platforms. If you go to trade rules, 4 range information is right here. 8 tick stop moves to break even after 4 ticks in profit. So we did that very successfully.
If you hit the daily for just 1 minute,
daily
on the ES.
Yeah, this little bar right here.
Yeah.
Compared to the big bar before that and the big bar before that.
I know. And the volume is, when I started the broadcast, we looked at the volume. There's only like 500,000 contracts traded.
That's crazy.
Most days break a million. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. It's like it's waiting for some big news event, but we don't have one.
But we got one tomorrow, and I think Friday.
Yeah, we do. The one high impact one is tomorrow.
Okay.
Friday is medium impact. Well, on my chart anyway, it's medium impact. It might not be everywhere else, but all right. So I'm going to wrap it up here. But let me just, before I do that, let me just show you. This is the 4 tick range this morning on the ES. All right. Now we hardly had any opportunity. I guess we did have some opportunity on the 7 tick range, but on the 4 tick range, if we go back here, you can see sometimes they overlap. But on the 4 tick range, you had a nice trade right there, move the stop to break even after 4 ticks in profit. You had a nice trade right here, move the stop to break even after 4 ticks in profit. Still need the higher swing and all that stuff. So when you get the higher swing, you had another trade here, move the stop to break even after 4 ticks in profit. So there's a bunch of trades in here that you could have taken. No, not a lot of follow through, but you had plenty of entry with decent opportunity. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. If the markets seem really flat, but they're fluctuating just enough to trigger some trades, but they don't have a whole lot of follow through, like not more than 1.5 bars follow through. If you go to a smaller time frame on days like that, if you haven't gotten your goal for the day and you go to a smaller time frame, you'll probably get the opportunity to get your goal for the day. If you've gotten your goal for the day, stop trading, especially on days like that.
Put the mouse away.
Yep. All right. So with that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready. Never did get that trade on the Russell. Actually, it did give you the down close there, but you couldn't see all 4 lines on the down close.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 1 trade and 3 minutes to get to $2,400.
Great job. Now compare that to yesterday, if you remember.
Yes, yesterday was 59 minutes and 10 trades to get to $1,150.
Now, same guy, same strategy, same indicators, same rules, same everything. You never know what hand the market is going to deal you on any given day. So you have to become the constant integer in the equation. So what did Michael do yesterday? Did he get mad? Did he walk away? No, he just kept trading.
Just the same thing.
So
I have complete confidence.
yeah, don't expect to get your goal for the day in 1 trade every day. It's always nice when it happens, but don't expect it, because that sets you up for disappointment and stinking thinking. And psychology is truly the biggest part of the trading equation. As Mark Douglas said, the problem is not in the markets, it's between your ears. So
it is indeed.
Okay, now Michael, we should be getting in the support email an email from XSplit.
Okay.
Because I reset my modem and my router, and I did a speed test, and we're still dropping frames. Now, we dropped 9,840 frames. That only affects the people on the YouTube channel. And they may come back and tell me, well, out of a 2-hour broadcast, if you only drop 9,840 frames, that's not really a problem. So anyway, it's one of those deals where you got to fill out a ticket, and that account was created under support. So if you see it,
okay, that's what it means.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I don't see anything yet.
All right, buddy.
We'll see you.
All right, guys, we've covered all the markets. Normally at this time, I finish up whatever I hadn't finished up, but we managed to get through them all today. But I will give you one last look at the S&P 500 E-mini futures. We've moved a little bit higher, okay? But we know where resistance is. We know where support is. I think we actually did touch blue and climbing, which we expect to be support. Good enough for a bounce. But this right here, this reversal, it's not quite a twin tower, but it's really close. You're like, twin tower? I never heard of that. Well, come be a member. I'll teach you all about it. Okay. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. 2 hours of live training every day in an interactive environment in live markets. Private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators that you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Daily chart, weekly chart, monthly chart, 5-minute chart, tick chart, range chart. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. You'll also get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, the weekly trading zones, and you'll be able to attend the members only workshop tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And when you become a passport holder, not only do you have the ability to attend the members only workshop, because you're now a member, but you also have access to the vault that contains many previous members only workshop. So there's so much content there, so many teachable moments, and it's all yours when you become a passport holder. So let's wrap it up as we do every day with our good word for the day. Now, yesterday, our topic was, Are You Flourishing? Part 1. Okay. Now, sometimes people say, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm okay. No, how you doing? Oh, I'm hanging in there. No, really, how you doing? Oh, I'm getting by. God did not create you just to survive. God created you to flourish. So today, are you flourishing? Part 2. Psalm 92:13. They will flourish in the courts of our God. Inside you, there's a battle between your flourishing self, the person you were created to be, and your languishing self. What's that, you ask? Your languishing self feels uneasy and discontent. You're drawn to bad habits like mindlessly watching TV, drinking too much, misusing sex, or excessive spending. Things designed to temporarily anesthetize pain. Your thoughts automatically drift in the direction of fear and anger. Let me point out, as my pastor pointed out this past Sunday, the word danger is simply anger with a D hanging on front of it. Anger leads to danger, road rage, all kinds of things. Okay. Not only do your thoughts drift in the direction of fear and anger when some situation arises, learning doesn't even feel worthwhile. Now, here's the key. You think about yourself most of the time. That is key. That is critical. Get out of your head. Stop festering over yourself. If you'll go focus your energy and your time and your resources on helping other people, God will sneak in while you're sleeping and He'll take care of you. Number 1, in your spirit, you sense you're beginning to receive ideas and energy from an outside source. This is when the flourishing starts, okay? And you are. You're being empowered by God's Spirit. We talk about being inspired, which literally means God breathed. God breathes into you. You come alive and feel like you have a purpose for living. Number 2, in your mind. Your thoughts are marked by joy and peace. This is when you're flourishing. Suddenly you have the desire to love and to learn. You are literally being transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. In your time, you wake each day with a sense of excitement, and you realize you're never too young to flourish. Mozart was composing brilliant music when he was 5. Paul told Timothy, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. 1 Timothy 4:12. But also realize you're never too old to flourish. Grandma Moses was in her mid-70s when she took up painting. And artist Mark Chagall did some of his best work in his 90s. It's humbling to acknowledge you can't be anything you want. But once you accept that and seek to maximize what God has created you to be, guess what? You start flourishing. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are. May God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.